Season 1. You've been asking, why the delay, why the silence, why the waiting? And maybe, deep inside, you feared it was punishment. But listen closely, the delay is not punishment. It is strategy. Think of the stillness before a storm. The air grows heavy, the sky darkens. But it is not death approaching, it is release. The pause in your life is not a curse, it is preparation for breakthrough. You are marked, set apart, preserved for divine assignment. And the reason it has taken longer than you thought is because your destiny is greater than you imagined. Do not mistake delay for rejection. Delay is protection. Delay is alignment. Delay is heaven moving unseen pieces into place. And today, you will see the truth. From the storm to the desert to the potter's wheel to the promised land, every moment of waiting has been part of a divine strategy. But you must stay with me until the very end, because the final revelation, the last piece of this prophetic puzzle, is the one most people miss. And when you receive it, it will shift how you see your entire journey. So before we go deeper, take an act of faith, like this video. Subscribe if your spirit says yes, and comment 11 online below as your declaration that you are aligning with heaven's timing. Now, let us begin this journey, for the Spirit is about to uncover why your waiting has been holy and why your delay is divine strategy. There is something mysterious about stillness, something unsettling about silence. When the winds stop moving, when the air feels thick, when nothing seems to shift. In those moments, you wonder if heaven has forgotten you. You look around and see others moving forward, celebrated, walking into answered prayers, and you feel left behind. But the stillness before the storm is not abandonment, it is divine tension. The atmosphere is heavy because heaven is preparing to break open. Delay is the prelude to movement. Silence is the womb of sound. Think about Noah. God told him to build an ark when there was no sign of rain. Day after day, he built. Year after year, he waited. Mocked for standing still while everyone else seemed to advance. But when the heavens opened, Noah alone was preserved. What looked like delay was divine positioning. The ark you have been building, your prayers, sacrifices, hidden obedience, is not wasted. Though no rain has fallen yet, heaven has already marked your faithfulness. The stillness before the storm confirms you are exactly where you need to be. Right before a storm, animals grow quiet, winds stop blowing, the world seems frozen. But it is not death, it is the calm before release. And that is where you are now. In the sacred pause, in the holy delay that signals movement is near, you've asked, why is everything so quiet? Why do I hear nothing from God? Because even heaven grows silent before its greatest release. Remember, before Jesus was resurrected, there were 3 days of silence in the tomb. The disciples hid in fear. The world thought it was over, but the silence was only the pause before victory. Delay is not punishment. It is prophecy unfolding in time. Habakkuk 2:3 says, "Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." The vision is for an appointed season. Though it feels delayed, release is closer than you think. The storm you are about to face is not meant to destroy you, but to reveal your foundation. The same storm that wipes away houses built on sand proves the strength of a house built on rock. And you are that house, tested in silence, anchored, not weak. When the storm comes, you will stand. Let the silence no longer scare you. Let the stillness no longer torment you. For you are not forgotten. You are hidden, preserved, protected until the right moment. Here is the mystery. The longer the stillness, the greater the storm. The heavier the silence, the louder the release. Heaven does not waste waiting, it multiplies it. So if you are in a season where time feels frozen, rejoice. It is proof your breakthrough is forming in the unseen. Evidence that heaven is gathering power on your behalf. And when it is unleashed, no one will deny God's hand upon you. Type "I am ready" in the comments, not as routine, but as a declaration that you understand the silence. It is not against you, it is for you. But this is only the beginning. For storms are not just about rain. They reveal what is built on rock and what is built on sand. They strip away what cannot endure. And in the next revelation, we will see why this delay, this storm, is exposing foundations, not to harm you, but to make sure that when you rise unshakable. Are you ready to see why the shaking is necessary? The storm does not come to destroy you. It comes to expose what cannot stand. Delay feels heavy because heaven is testing foundations. What looks like silence is really the shaking of hidden structures. God is asking, what have you built upon? If a house rests on shifting sand, it collapses. But if it stands on solid rock, no matter the rain or winds, it will endure. Jesus said in Matthew 7:24-25, "Everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock, yet it did not fall." The waiting has not been wasted. The shaking you feel is proof heaven is making sure you are anchored to the rock, not to sand. This is why relationships ended, why opportunities disappeared, why doors suddenly closed, because they were sand. If God had allowed you to keep them, your foundation would have been unstable. You are not being rejected. You are being preserved. Every no, every silence, every delay was God pulling out sand so your destiny could stand firm. Think of Joseph, favored by his father, clothed in a coat of many colors, yet thrown into a pit, betrayed by brothers, forgotten in prison. Why? Because approval, favor, and opportunity were too weak to hold his calling. Only when false foundations were stripped away could he stand in Pharaoh's palace, carrying destiny for nations. Delay has been your test of foundations. Would you trust when friends walked away? Remain faithful when opportunities vanished? Keep believing when prayers seemed unanswered? The answer is yes, because you are still here. That alone is proof enough. Your survival is testimony. Your endurance is evidence. Standing here today, hearing this word, proves you were never built on sand. You were built on the rock, and no storm or delay can tear you down. So don't despise the shaking, don't curse the delay. It is heaven's way of proving that when God releases the promise, nothing will take it from you. The job you lost was not rejection, it was preservation. The relationship that ended was not failure, it was strategy. The opportunity that collapsed was not punishment, it was protection. If those things had stayed, they would have crumbled under the weight of your assignment. Now you are anchored. Now you are unshakable. Now you stand on a foundation that will not fall. Psalm 62:2 declares, "Truly he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, I will never be shaken." And this is your testimony too. So lift your head. Stop mourning what fell apart. Stop questioning why doors closed. If it crumbled, it was never your foundation. If it left, it was never meant to hold your destiny. Type in the comments, "I am unshakable." Say it as a decree, because that is who you are, preserved, anchored, secure. But the shaking does not end with exposed foundations. Once the sand is removed and the rock revealed, the potter begins his work. And that is where we go next. The delay has not only tested you, it has been molding you into a vessel of greater capacity. Prepare your heart, for in the next part, we will step onto the potter's wheel and see why delay has been the hand of God shaping you. Delay is not a tomb, it is a wheel, the potter's wheel. Have you ever watched a potter? He takes a lump of clay, shapeless and ordinary. He places it on the spinning wheel. With his hands, he presses, squeezes, reshapes. The clay feels crushed, but the potter knows. Every push, every turn is not destruction. It is design. That is what your delay has been, not punishment, not rejection, but the potter's hands molding you into something greater. Jeremiah 18:6 says, "Like clay in the hand of the potter, so are you in my hand." You are not discarded material. You are a vessel being shaped for destiny. If the clay resists, it cracks. If it hardens too soon, it cannot be shaped. So the potter keeps it soft with water, and for you, that water is the Spirit. The tears you cried in prayer, the whispers of worship when no one was watching. Every drop of surrender kept you moldable. Because of that, God never removed his hands from you. Yes, the delay has felt like spinning, days blending into weeks, weeks into years. But the potter never spins without purpose. Your waiting, though circular, has been sculpting destiny. Consider Joseph again. Years in prison, overlooked, forgotten. But all the while, the potter's hands shaped him. Wisdom, patience, endurance. Until the day he was lifted from dungeon to palace. His delay was design, and so it is with you. You think you are behind schedule, but heaven says you are on time. You think you are stuck, but heaven says you are being shaped. You think you are crushed, but heaven says you are being prepared for glory. The pressure you feel is not weakness, it is worth. The potter only presses clay he intends to use. He only shapes vessels he intends to fill. You are being formed for extraordinary use, greater capacity, greater strength, greater endurance, greater anointing. That is why the delay felt longer, the pressure heavier. Because your assignment is not ordinary. So do not despise the pressure. Do not resist the spinning. Do not curse the delay. It proves heaven has not taken its hands off you. There will come a moment when the potter lifts his hands, when the wheel stops spinning, and the vessel, once shapeless, will stand ready, strong, beautiful, useful. That is the day your delay ends. Until then, stay soft, stay surrendered, stay moldable. For you are clay becoming a vessel of honor. Type in the comments, "Mold me, Lord." Declare it as surrender to the potter's work in your delay. But the potter's process is not finished. After the shaping comes the drying. After the drying comes the placing. Every vessel, once formed, must be positioned. And that is the next revelation. Your delay is not only shaping you, it is placing you. Prepare your spirit. For in the next part, we step into the wilderness of waiting and discover why the desert is not punishment, but the birthplace of vision. Delay often feels like a desert, a place where nothing grows, where silence lingers, where loneliness presses in. You have asked, why am I here? Why does my life feel so dry? But hear me, the desert is not punishment, it is preparation. The wilderness is not a curse, it is a classroom. The desert has always been the birthplace of vision. When God wants to speak clearly, he often leads his people into isolation. Moses encountered the burning bush in the wilderness. Israel learned dependence on manna there. Even Jesus was led into the desert before his ministry began. If you feel you are in a desert, you are in good company. Every great destiny is born in barren places. In the city, there is distraction. In the crowd, there is noise. But in the desert, silence. And in silence, you finally hear heaven's whisper, God's instruction, your true identity. The desert strips you, takes away false comforts, silences applause, removes noise. Though painful, it is sacred, because when all else is gone, you discover God alone is enough. Deuteronomy 8:2-3 says, "Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness, to humble and test you, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord." Do you see it? Your desert is training ground. Your delay is discipline. God is not starving you. He is feeding you with his word, his presence, his spirit. Yes, it hurts. The days are hot, the nights cold, the journey endless. But the wilderness always ends with a promised land, so do not despise it. The manna you are receiving now, the lessons in isolation, will sustain you in the land flowing with milk and honey. Think of David, anointed king, yet hiding in caves. It looked like rejection, but it was strategy. In the wilderness, he learned to worship without an audience, to strengthen himself in the Lord. He learned his crown would come not from men, but from God alone. The same is true for you. Your desert is shaping you, preparing you to rise not dependent on man's applause, but sustained by heaven's voice. So lift your head, breathe deeply, stop fighting the wilderness, receive its lessons. In the desert, you are becoming unshakable. You are learning vision. You are learning trust. You are learning dependence on manna from heaven. Type in the comments, "My desert is my training." Declare it. Your waiting is not wasted. Your barrenness is not empty. It is shaping you for the land ahead. But deserts are not forever. There comes a time when manna stops and fruit begins, when wandering ends and possession starts. That time is coming, yet timing is everything. To enter too soon is to fail. The delay is heaven ensuring you arrive not only at the right place, but at the right time. And that is our next revelation. Why God's timing has been your greatest protection. Delay is not only about testing you, it is about timing you. The promise is real, the land is waiting. But if you arrive too soon, the blessing meant to elevate you could crush you. Premature success can destroy destiny. Fruit picked before it is ripe looks good on the outside, but inside it is bitter, hard, unready. That is what happens when we step into blessings before their time. What was meant to bless becomes a burden. Heaven has been protecting you from premature arrival. Your delay is strategy. Because when you step into the promised land, you must be ready not just to enter, but to conquer. Remember Israel. They were promised Canaan, but could not enter until the time was right. When Joshua led them across the Jordan, God gave a strange command. March around Jericho once a day for 6 days, 7 times on the 7th, then shout. Why wait? Because timing mattered. The silence before the shout was the key to victory. Your waiting has been the same. Your circling, your silent obedience when nothing seemed to shift. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are circling Jericho. And when the time is right, your shout will bring down walls. Ecclesiastes 3:1 declares, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." Your season has not been denied. It has been reserved, like fruit ripening on the tree, like wine aging in hidden barrels, like a warrior sharpening his sword. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on schedule. Delay has been alignment with God's calendar, not man's. Think of David, anointed as king as a boy, yet years passed before he wore the crown. If he had taken the throne too early, he would have been crushed. But when the fullness of time came, he was ready. And so it is with you. Crowned in heaven, delayed on earth. Not because you were forgotten, but because you are being timed. When you step into promise, you will conquer. When you rise, you will remain. This is why certain doors stayed closed, why opportunities passed you by, why others seemed ahead. It was not lack and it was protection. God was aligning you with perfect timing. So do not compare, do not envy the speed of others. What is fast is not always lasting. What is rushed is not always rooted. But you are being prepared for what endures. And that requires timing. Lift your spirit. Stop asking, "When, Lord?" Start declaring, "In your time, Lord." Type it in the comments now as your act of faith. Because when the moment arrives, you will see why the delay was necessary. You will enter not as a wanderer, but as a conqueror. Not as someone barely surviving, but as one prepared to reign. Here lies the deeper mystery. Your delay has not only been about you, it has also been about those connected to you. When you rise, others rise with you. Your timing is linked to their deliverance, and heaven has aligned your delay so others may live. That is our next revelation. Your waiting has been the rescue of many lives. Your delay is bigger than you. Your waiting is not only about your destiny, it is about those connected to your life. Heaven's strategy is never isolated. When God delays one, it is often because he is aligning the salvation of many. Your pause has been someone else's rescue. Think of Joseph, betrayed, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, forgotten in prison. Years of waiting. It looked like punishment, but it was strategy. When famine struck, Joseph was positioned to feed nations. Genesis 50:20 says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, the saving of many lives." Your delay is not wasted. It is delivering someone else, the people you will speak to, the lives you will touch, the souls you will lead into freedom. They are the reason your waiting has been long. Heaven aligned your timeline with their cries. What if your tears were not only for you? What if your nights of wrestling with God were prayers sustaining others? What if your silence was synchronizing your breakthrough with another's deliverance? Your pause is not punishment. It is preservation, the weaving of destinies. When you rise, you will not rise alone. Your testimony will lift others. Your endurance will give them hope. Think of Esther, hidden in a palace, placed there not by chance but by strategy. Her delay in revealing her identity was timing. When the moment came, her courage saved a nation. Esther 4:14 says, "Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" Your such a time is coming. Every delay has aligned you with that moment. The people assigned to your voice, the generations tied to your obedience, the deliverance linked to your breakthrough. This is why warfare has been so heavy. The enemy feared the chain reaction your obedience would unleash. Your breakthrough is not just your own. It is freedom for many. You are a bridge, and bridges must be reinforced before they can carry weight. Your waiting has been that strengthening. When others step on your testimony, when they lean on your faith, you will not collapse. You will hold, because heaven made sure of it. Type in the comments, "My delay is deliverance." Say it aloud so heaven hears, earth hears, and the enemy hears. Your waiting has purpose. Your pause is preservation. Your delay is deliverance for many. But hear this, when deliverance is near, the enemy makes one last attempt. He cannot stop destiny, but he tries to break your spirit before you reach it. That is why attacks intensify at the end of waiting, why silence feels heavier, why storms feel stronger, because breakthrough is at the door. And that is our next revelation, why the enemy fought you hardest in delay, and why the darkness was thickest before dawn. The enemy does not fight what is weak. He fights what is about to break through. Your delay has been long, your waiting heavy. And just when you thought you could not carry more, the battles intensified. Attacks grew sharper, the silence deeper, the warfare stronger. Why? Because darkness is thickest before dawn. The night is coldest before morning. The enemy always strikes hardest at the end, and because destiny is near. Remember Jesus in the wilderness. After 40 days of fasting, hungry and weak, that's when Satan came. Not at the beginning, at the end. Because after delay comes destiny. After silence comes sound. After stillness comes breakthrough. So the heaviness you feel is not proof of God's absence. It is proof of how close you are. If you were not dangerous, you would not be attacked. If you were not near, the enemy would not bother. Think of a woman in labor. The pain sharpens before birth. Contractions intensify just before delivery. Your pain has been labor pains. Your warfare has been the enemy trying to stop what heaven already ordained. Isaiah 66:9 says, "Do I bring to the moment of birth and not give delivery, says the Lord." If God brought you this far, He will not leave you empty. If He carried you through delay, He will carry you into destiny. Yes, the attacks were fierce, the doubts loud, the loneliness suffocating. But the fact that you are still standing proves the enemy already lost. If he could have stopped you, you would not be here, breathing, enduring, listening now. Your survival is prophecy fulfilled. Your endurance is evidence of divine strategy. The fact that you did not quit, did not break, did not turn back, proves you were preserved for this moment. Type it in the comments, "I survived the storm." Declare it. Mark it. Your survival is not random, it is intentional, it is divine. The enemy fears not just you, but what is unleashed through you, the lives that will be saved, the chains that will be broken, the light that will scatter darkness. That is what he fears, the ripple effect of your destiny. This is why the waiting felt so costly, why the delay was painful, because you are carrying more than you know, and when it breaks forth, it will change everything around you. Now the moment is here. The delay is ending. The waiting is shifting. The potter has finished shaping. The wilderness has done its work. The foundations proved strong. The storm revealed what cannot be shaken. Your delay was divine strategy. And now comes the final revelation, the mystery heaven reserved for the end. Are you ready? Because in the conclusion, I will reveal the last key, the one that ties it all together, proving every moment of delay was preparation, not punishment. Here it is, the truth heaven reserved for the end. Your delay was never punishment. It was never rejection. It was divine strategy. Every moment of silence, every closed door, every unanswered prayer, none were wasted. They were weaving, they were aligning, they were preserving you. You thought you were forgotten, but you were hidden. You thought you were delayed, but you were protected. You thought you were left behind, but you were being carried forward in unseen ways. Your survival is proof. The storm tested you, but you stood. The shaking exposed you, but you remained anchored. The potter pressed you, but you were not broken. The desert stripped you, but you were not abandoned. The enemy attacked, but you endured. Why? Because you are chosen. Because your life is not random. Because your destiny is not fragile. Romans 8:28 declares, "In all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." All things. The delays, the deserts, the wheel, the storms, the silence. All things have been working for your good. See it now. The delay was not wasted time, it was preparation time. It was heaven's strategy to ensure you would not just arrive at the promise, but remain in it. And now the release is near. Now the season is shifting. Now doors are opening, not by chance, but by timing. You will see why it took so long. You will rejoice because the strategy will be revealed. Say it now. Type it in the comments. My delay was divine strategy. Let heaven hear you. Let the enemy hear you. Let your soul hear you. Lift your hands where you are and receive this prayer. Father, I thank you for every life preserved by delay, for every destiny aligned by divine timing. I declare their waiting has not been wasted. Their storms were not punishment, but preparation. Release peace, clarity, and courage into their spirit. Let them walk forward with confidence, knowing every step has been ordained by you. You are ready. You are prepared. You are positioned. Your delay was strategy, and your release is near. Now, as an act of faith, seal this word. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it, not as habit, but as alignment with heaven's timing. This is not the end, it is the beginning. For your delay was never punishment. It was always when only divine strategy.